What's up, you beautiful people? Finally got my space set up and ready to go. Maybe I'll do a tour of it one day. But for today, let's get into the stories and I'll see you in a bit. Karen mistakes me for the hired help. After browsing this subreddit for a while, it triggered a memory of mine from a few years ago. Instead of work, this happened to me in my own home. But I still think the story falls under this subreddit category. This is my first post, so if I make any grammatical errors, I apologize in advance. Also, this was 3 years ago, so slight paraphrasing in the beginning. Short version below. Meet the cast. Me, Karen, a grumpy old woman who I have never met before. For a bit of backstory and context, I live in a fairly affluent area in Australia, where entitled parents and Karens tend to flock to cafes and my local Woolworths like no tomorrow. Nevertheless, I love living in this suburb. It's a safe area with a strong community. However, the rich entitlement can be draining. Anyhow, I digress. It was during the summer months of Australia, roughly 3 years ago. It was a quiet weekend at home for me. I was busy doing chores, cleaning the house, vacuuming, etc. My mom, who I love dearly, is a bit of a clean freak, to put it mildly. And one of my chores was to regularly clean our small outside patio/sun deck of our apartment during the summer. It's only about 1.5 meters wide, so not a large thing. During the warm season in Australia, we get droves of fruit bats eating from the figs and avocado trees that overhang our garden and our deck. And that year was particularly bad. Bat crap was everywhere. The actual story. So, as per usual, I grab a hot bucket of water and the strongest soap we had and got to scrubbing away the bat scum like a woman on a mission. Routinely washing away the suds and scat with fresh hot water. It's important for me to note that I've lived on the top floor of a 4-story building, which means the water will slough over the sides. Yes, I always check over the banister in case any of my unwary neighbors are walking along the sidewalk below. Another piece of relevant info for later is that we have a private enclosed garden area on the other side of the pathway for residents to hold parties. Anyway, there I was scrubbing and a-sloshing when I smelled the distinct scent of cigarette smoke. I look over the side and I see a woman, the Karen, and clearly not a resident, puffing a cigarette like no tomorrow. My building complex has a strict no smoking policy in certain areas. One of these areas was our private garden. We had a problem with visitors and residents leaving their cigarette butts in greenery, so building management decided to make a no smoking area policy. I wrinkled my nose at the smell, but didn't say anything. I'm not really a confrontational person when it comes to these things. Some water made a fairly loud splash on the walkway floor, which must have alerted the attention of Karen. Karen, oi, you can't do that! Me, what? At first, I thought she was talking to one of our neighbor's cares for the old couple downstairs, so I ignored it and continued what I was doing. Karen, oi, I'm talking to you! Me, oh, me? I point to myself. Karen, in a snippy voice, you can't do that. I'm getting soaked with your dirty water. Me, confused. Our garden is divided by a wide path and elevated about 2 meters above this path, which was also blocked by a thick layer of bushes. There was no way the water could have hit her, but me being the peacekeeper, I reply, oh, I'm sorry if some of the water splashed on you. I'll be done in a few minutes. Karen, no, you need to stop. People live here and you're making a mess of everything. Me, really confused. Ma'am, I'm simply mopping my deck. I do this regularly. Karen, hands on hips. And you should be cleaning it when residents aren't in the garden. Me, it clicks. Oh, she thinks I'm a cleaner. Ah, I'm a resident here too, ma'am. I live in this apartment complex. This is my apartment. Karen, no. I know full well that the last names live here. A bit of context. I'm adopted. My parents are Caucasian and I have a Southeast Asian heritage. And I look relatively young for my age. I'm 25. so I'm often mistaken for the hired help. Plus, I was in an old t-shirt and my sweatpants, no makeup, and looked and felt like the beautiful definition of a drowned rat. So there was that. Me. I know, I'm one of the last names. I would have thought that would have been the end of it, but nope. Karen scoffs at me in disbelief. Someone like you doesn't own and live in an apartment like this. Me. Now I'm annoyed. As an Aussie, I had a right to not prove my identity, but I was tired from cleaning all day. It was sweltering hot, and I very much wanted to pour the rest of my dirty water on this woman. I wanted the last word. Ma'am, I repeated, I am a resident. I live here. My name was at work, and my parents are mom and dad. As a resident of address, I'm allowed to clean my deck whenever I please. Karen, flustered but gains her snippy composure. Well, I'll inform the building manager that you're disrupting my quiet time. I'm a resident here too. Me, almost shouting over the banister. And I'll inform, building manager's name 1 and 2, that you're smoking in a non-smoking area. I know full well you're not a resident. I've never seen you before, and my building manager, who happens to be my next door neighbors and good friends of mine, a true fact, couldn't give a flip about me cleaning my deck. Karen finally shuts up, red with embarrassment, and hastily puts out her cigarette on the edge of our shared garden table. Much to my extreme annoyance, it was a nice granite table. I moodily finished my mopping and head back inside to make myself an extra strong coffee. I ended up discussing the smoking matter with my mum. Turns out that Karen is one of the many caretakers for the old couple downstairs. My mum, bless her, said that she'd been warned about smoking in our garden by the building managers already. I got a good laugh. Bit of an anticlimactic ending, but it's something I'm very used to. As for Karen, she avoids me whenever she's on shift. On the occasion I do bump into her in the halls, I'm always dressed up to the nines and greet her with a warm, crap-eating grin, and always wish her a good morning. I don't work here, but I used to. A few days ago, I was shopping with my grandma because she offered to buy me some new clothes. And who doesn't want new clothes? So we went to a pretty popular clothing store that I used to work at, and where a few of the employees still know me. There's no uniform at this place, except on the weekends where employees have to wear red and denim. Otherwise, they wear business casual. At least there wasn't a specific dress code when I worked there, so it may have changed. I was wearing a pair of jeans and a plain t-shirt with a flannel tie around my waist, and it was a Thursday. My grandma asked me if I remember where a certain brand of clothing was, so I pointed her in the direction that I remembered it being in, and we parted ways to find the things we needed. I was looking through some t-shirts on a table, and anytime I would open one to look at it, I folded it and put it back neatly. Apparently, I can't do that if I don't work at the store, because here comes a lady very huffy and puffy. Me, lady is lady. Don't know if that needed to be explained, but okay. Lady, why is there no one at this register? Aren't you supposed to be in charge of the register and the floor? Me, no ma'am, I don't actually work here. Lady, then why were you folding those shirts and helping out another woman? Me, that woman was my grandma, and I was putting the shirts back after I looked at them. I don't work. Lady, stop lying to me. Where is your manager? Me, I have no idea who the manager on shift is right now, but I can guarantee that they won't recognize me. A deaf employee comes by to put away clothes. She recognizes me and signs a short greeting. Lady, noticing the deaf woman signing to me, You, do you work here? Ma'am, are you the manager? She doesn't answer because she doesn't see her. Ma'am, y'all employees are rude. Me, she's deaf and she's not the manager. She can't hear you to even be able to ignore you. Lady, I'm gonna go to this other register and report the both of y'all. Luckily, I didn't see her after that. I hate confrontation, so that sucked, and I really hurried my shopping up so I could leave without seeing her again. That girl doesn't work here. That's my daughter. Not as insane as a lot of these other stories, but I wanted to share. It was my 12th birthday, and that year I wanted some new tennis shoes, so my parents took me shopping at Academy. Because sometimes the shoes inside don't match the label, I was opening the boxes and replacing them if I wanted to look at them. I was wearing a teal untucked t-shirt with baggy pants, and I was also 12. But I guess the act of putting these things back where they belonged made me look like an employee somehow. A lady walked up to me and asked if I knew where something was. I said no, sorry, and walked away since I was pretty shy and I was still shopping. A few minutes later, I sat down to try on a pair, and my mom was checking out some of the shoes when she overheard the same lady talking to a manager out of my earshot. She was complaining about some rude employee, how she shouldn't treat her customers like that, etc. The manager asked what she looked like, and she said teal t-shirt, brown hair. Excuse me, but are you talking about that girl over there? Yes. Was she horrible to you too? No. And that girl doesn't work here. That's my daughter. I didn't hear any of this. My mom told me afterwards. But I remember my mom going back to again and chewing her out. Maybe because she used to work retail and was happy to finally be on the other side. Or maybe she was just sticking up for me. I don't know. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the stories. If you did, you should know the drill by now. If you liked it and you're new around here, consider subscribing. And if you really liked it, maybe give it a thumbs up and a share. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.